Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Today is Monday Mindset with Coffee Chats with Candy. So I am just going to take a sip of my coffee before we get started and get a little caffeine running through the blood. How's everybody doing? Had a big week last week as we went through various topics on the different days. And for those of you that might be joining us for the first time, just remember that every day I am going live to have coffee chat conversations with you. And we have a theme for each day. Monday is all around Monday mindset. It's really that opportunity to set the tone and intention and really put the best energy into your week getting started. Tuesday is all Tuesday training. So I will be sharing a strategy, tool, tip, something that can help you elevate your game, your business, your life. Wednesday is Wednesday Wonder. And that is really our space to dig into the big imagine if space, imagine the possibilities and get out of that negative, debilitating, anchoring imagine if space. So Wednesdays are kind of play day. And then Thursday is throwdown day. And that is where I am challenging you to do something in your week, something that probably makes you uncomfortable, something that's going to help get you some edge, help you sharpen the saw, help you step out in a much bigger way. And then Friday is, good morning, Deborah. Friday is all around Friday Feature, which is my opportunity to share business resource, tool, podcast, book, something along those lines with you, things that have been significant in terms of my own personal growth and development. And so I want to have that opportunity to share that with you as well. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Glad to see some of you joining us. It is Monday. It is Monday Mindset. And so what does that mean for this morning? This morning we're going to get into a little NLP. And for those of you that don't know what NLP is Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And what that is a science and methodology. Good morning, Terry. That is a science and methodology that gets into linguistic and behavior patterns in terms of how you access information, how you process information, and where your beliefs stem from. And so in order to really kind of level up our week, I want to dig in a little bit. And I know last week we talked about moving out of that space of obligation into one of opportunity. And today's discussion is going to fall along a similar pattern. We're going to talk about how to move towards something instead of always pushing away from something. And so like I said, we're going to get into a little neuro-linguistic programming and help you realize how powerful your words are. Your words and thoughts are everything. And we have created definitions. We have created emotional attachments. We have created synergies with words, with thoughts that have meaning for us. And so when we choose one word over another, it can be significant in terms of what we're opening up access to, what we're manifesting, what we're bringing into our life. And so before I jump in, for those of you that are on, I really want you to explore the opportunity around what we did last week. So last week, just as a recap, for those of you that might be joining us for the first time, we did get into a space around, Monday was all around moving from obligation to opportunity. So we talked a lot about the shifting the frame from I have to, I need to, I get to, or I got to, I should, into I get to, I am, I choose, I'm blessed, I'm grateful for. And then Tuesday we talked about your morning routine. So tomorrow we're going to get into your evening routine. We're going to get into the second part of the bookend. And we got into why that's so powerful. And even starting your mornings with these calls like this, where you're setting intention, where you're clearing out the noise, where you're getting really purposeful about what words you choose to use as a catalyst versus an anchor in your life, and what does that look like. And then Wednesday, we got into shifting from the what if, the negative, debilitating, anchoring what if, and we move that into a more powerful, positive, imaginative, and to open up access to tap into our imagination and play, let that inner child inside of us play. And then Thursday, the throwdown was that you were going to share your big, wonderful, juicy, delicious, imaginative with at least 3 people over the weekend. And if you were so daring and brave, to share it on social media. So good morning, Martha. I'm just wondering, as I'm continuing to kind of give a summary, who did the challenge last week and how did it go? I would love to hear the comments. So I'm going to kind of just keep recapping a little bit last week while I give you an opportunity to share your responses, because I know sometimes there's a lag on when I ask a question and when you guys want to respond. So start weighing in around some of the things that showed up for you last week. How was the challenge? And then Friday, if you remember, good morning. Friday, if you remember, I introduced the book, The Go-Giver by Bob Burg, and we talked about the 5 stratospheric laws of success. And we talked about the law of value, the law of compensation, the law of authenticity, the law of integrity, and the law of reciprocity. Actually, it was receptivity. And we got into a space around, awesome, Terry, I love that. Told tons of people. I would gather, and actually I won't even make an assumption because that's one of the things we talk about. How does that feel? How does that feel to share that big imagine if with a ton of people? I absolutely love that. Good morning, good morning, I love this. Okay, so I see that some of you are weighing in. Terry would love to know how that feels. Martha, I know you were here last week. How was the challenge for you? How was the week for you? I just want to see where you guys are at. I want to keep gauging this as we go along because this isn't just me wanting to talk at you. This is me wanting to fully engage with you and make sure that these are things that you can actually be implementing and creating new discipline, new habits, new ways. Shared with a BFF, she is encouraging. Oh, I love that. I love that. I would imagine it probably changes some of the conversation when you're having those big, juicy discussions around your powerful imagine if. And so I encourage you, even though the challenge was last Thursday, I encourage you to continue to do that. You'll be surprised what you open up as you start to talk about your deepest passions, your deepest desires, the things that are most meaningful for you. So it is Monday Mindset, and like I said, we are going to get into a little neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. And for those of you in the coaching world, you may or may not have experienced this. I have done a significant amount of training in this space among some of the other things that I have dug into over my career. And like I said, all this is really, there's so much to it, so don't let me oversimplify it. But to put it in context for our discussion this morning, it is really about your linguistic and behavioral patterns and the way that you use words and thoughts in terms of how you create your beliefs, how you create your programming. And so there's a lot of our programming beliefs that are stemmed into things that we were told that have become anchors or have become stories that we've replayed over and over again. And so, for example, one of the things I really want to get into this morning is shifting away from this need to push or pull. It's anytime that we feel we're in a place of force, we are not standing in the space to be in our full power. And there's a big difference between force and power. Force is something that needs to be exerted. Force is something that requires this extra right? And oftentimes we are pushing something or we're pulling and trying to drag it to us, right? And what happens is when there's force, there's friction. And so friction is nothing more than resistance. And so when you realize that there is friction, you realize that you're exerting even more energy versus a place to actually be standing in your power, true power. And I'm not talking about when we talk about people abusing their power. That actually is more of a force situation than it is a power situation. But when you're in your true power, you actually drop in. And it becomes lighter and it becomes easier, and you are in a position where you can really find yourself in tune and aligned with who you are, your integrity, your authenticity. And so I say that because what happens is so many times we are in this space of trying to move away from something. I don't want that. And we say that over and over and over again. And what we're doing is we're creating this spiral effect of resistance that just keeps compounding over time. So we're like, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. And we're pushing and we're pushing and we're pushing away from something. And what we don't realize is there's a much easier way to get what we desire. Because first of all, from a neuro-linguistic programming perspective, what we hear is, we hear the what first, we hear the how we're gonna do it, and then we hear anything else. So when you hear, I don't want X, the first thing you hear is X. So neuro-linguistic programming says, I hear the thing first. The universe hears the thing first. So if I say, I don't want to be overweight anymore, My brain keeps saying overweight, 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 overweight. Then it hears want after it hears overweight. So now you've got one overweight, one overweight, one overweight, one overweight. It doesn't even distinguish the don't. That's way back in the recesses of where your brain is processing. And so I want you to think about that idea of when you're like, I don't want this. I don't want to feel tired anymore. I don't want to feel. So all you're saying is feel tired, feel tired, feel tired. And you're constantly programming that into your subconscious. Now, here's the interesting thing about your subconscious. Your subconscious does not know the difference between real and imagined. It has no filter. It doesn't know the difference between good or bad, real or different, real or imaginary. All it knows is it believes what you tell it. So if you keep hammering on it, don't want, don't want, don't want, I want you to realize that that's all your programming in your subconscious is want whatever the thing was, right? And so when you tell yourself those things, when you're pushing away from that, you're creating this resistance. You're creating this unnecessary negative vibration, negative energy that's weighing you down. And so let me see, I've got a couple. Oh, good morning, Judy. Telling a bunch of people is super invigorating, awesome. Good, I love that. I love that you're back too, Judy. Excellent. And so I want you to realize that when you're in that space of pushing away, you're creating more of that energy that's actually wearing you out, making you tired. It's resistant energy. So one of these calls, I'll show you the vibration scale. And actually, you know what? Let's just do that right now. Actually, I don't know how to do that on here. I will bring that up. I will make sure I print it out and share that with you on the next call. But show you the vibration scale in terms of which energies are depleting us and which energies are invigorating us. And when you're in that space of resistance, when you're in that space of frustration, when you're in that space of I don't want this, just realize that that is a negative vibration or a negative energy that's creating a push, which is that force, which is going to wear you out. So instead of being in the space around, I don't want this, which is our default, it is our default programming in our culture, I want you to start to move towards what you want. So when you stop pushing away and start moving towards, you create a lighter, more opening, more abundant energy. Because then what you do is you do exactly what we did last Wednesday. You start to dance in the imaginative. So I want you to think about if you don't want to be tired, let's play on some of these. Oh yeah, I want the energy vibration chart. Absolutely, I'm going to share that with you guys. I'll just make sure I print it out because I'm not quite sure how to share on Facebook Live. I'll either put it up, actually I'll either do a chart myself or I'll print it up so you guys can see it. And I'll even drop it in the group today, but I will talk through it on one of our next calls, but I'll drop it into the group as well, or onto my page as well. So would love to share that with you because I think it's really powerful when you see the energy chart. Gratitude and love being your highest vibration, guilt, worry, fear, and by the way, guilt and worry aren't technically even emotions, they're a mindset. So when you get into that space of, especially guilt is really just a mindset. It's a story that you're telling. It's not even an actual energy or actually emotion. But anyway, we'll get into that a little bit more later. Good morning, Terry. Glad to see y'all joining this morning. So thinking about pushing, right? You're pushing that away energy. I don't want. And then let's shift into the what do you want instead. So let's play with this a little bit. So say, for example, I'm going to put a couple out there and see what your responses are. I'd love to hear your I don't want statements. And what we'll do is we'll help you create the powerful what if, the powerful imagine if, the powerful want, the desire instead. And I will tell you that even shifting from, and if you really want to get into NLP and neurolinguistics, even shifting from want to desire is a very powerful. So instead of saying I don't want, say I desire, because desire means of spirit. The actual definition of the Latin breakdown of desire is of spirit. So when you think about the word desire, because want, if you really get into a neurolinguistic programming perspective, want implies don't have. So it's a scarcity mindset. Anytime you say I want, you already imply it's not here, it's not available, you don't have it now, versus I desire, which says this is of my spirit and I already know that it's on its way. I already know that it's here for me. So if you really want to shift from the I don't want and the pushing away, get into the space where you can say I desire instead, going to significantly. If you're struggling with the I desire, and I know some people for whatever reason struggle with that word desire, then at least shift the I don't want to the I want instead. And know that the want is still in a space of lack versus being wide open and abundant. So it may take a little bit longer for some of those things to manifest. But let's try a couple, right? So let's think about I don't want to feel tired. I don't want to be tired anymore. I don't want to feel tired, which, by the way, most of the time we whine when we say that. There's a lot of energy in the I don't want what. So say it's I don't want to feel tired. What would be a natural way to say I want, or even better yet, I desire? And it might be something as simple as I desire to feel energized every day. I desire to feel like I'm playing at my highest and best level. I desire living full out. I desire feeling vibrant and alive and present and engaged in my life. Notice that there's a choice in that too, right? I don't want this, which opens up opportunity to blame, justify, complain, make excuses. I'm going to get into how those are really limiting. And by the way, if you're doing any one of those three things, blame in any capacity, if you are feeling the need to justify or rationalize anything in any capacity, or you are feeling the need to complain, which is the I don't want, know that you are playing victim in some capacity. And I'll tell you, when I first saw that, that really was a trigger for me. I was like, ooh, really? And then I really sat with it and I'm like, no, it really is true. Any one of those three things are showing up for you in any capacity, you are still playing victim. And when you are playing victim, you are not sitting in a place of power to take ownership of your own life. And so let's see what some of you are weighing in as I'm looking at some of the comments. Oh, Mario, good morning. Welcome. So glad you could join us. Terry, I desire to have the energy to take the day. Absolutely. I feel awake. I feel awake and energetic. I don't want to be unable to support myself. Okay, great example of a I don't want, Martha. So let's play with that. If yours is I don't want to be unable to support myself, let's talk about what's that positive desire on the other side. So instead of pushing away from this notion, because that's a what if you're playing too, right? That's that space of what if I can't support myself? What if I can't do this? What if this happens? I want you to think about what would be a positive I want or I desire instead that starts to open up that space of imagine if, that allows you to dance a little bit. Perhaps it's I desire having enough financial freedom and abundance that not only can I support myself, I can do all the things I always wanted to do. I desire that I know that I always have enough. I want to continue to bring in more abundance. I desire the ability to support myself. It could be that simple. It could be simply a matter of shifting it out. And exactly, just as Judy says, I will be able to support myself. And I would even say I am supporting myself. I will even take that will out, because that will almost implies that it's not happening now. You are supporting yourself now. So it's almost shifting it into I desire to continue to support myself. I am supporting myself now. And what that does is it shifts you out of that negative space of, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. And it's that constant push, that constant resistance, which is really holding you back and creating that negative energy that is depleting you. It's draining you. It's causing you to feel more tired. And so when you think about, I desire to continue to support myself. I know I'm doing that. I will continue to do that. And so I love that you guys are playing with this a little bit and weighing in, right? And so because of my success, I support myself. Absolutely. Okay, that's getting in even more where we're putting in some of those power words. And for those of you that have ever done a life script with me, you know the power of words like because of this, I am that. When you put statements like that together, again, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. It only knows what you choose to tell it, what you choose to emotionally connect to, and what you choose to give energy to. So if you say a statement like what Terry just said, which is, because of my success, I support myself. I am doing that right now. Your brain starts to go, all right, we got this. We're taking care of ourselves. Bottom line. And I'll give you a real example. I had a client once who was here for a session, and she's like, Candy, what if I can't support me and my family? She's 57 years old. And I was like, so let me ask you a question. Have you ever not supported your family? Oh, I love that, Martha. I desire abundance and financial freedom. Amen. I love that. And so I said, have you ever not supported your family? And she said, well, no. And I said, then why would you ever play in that space of what if that's never happened? Instead, create a new baseline that says, I always support my family. I've always supported my family. I always will support my family. And I desire the capacity to continue to support my family. Well, talk about a shift. It just created a new baseline in terms of where she started her stories. And again, it's that space of, I can play in the what if that's negative, anchoring, I don't want this anymore, this feels heavy, I'm going to focus on everything that's wrong in my life, what I don't have, what I'm still waiting for, or I can choose joy and happiness and grace and love and peace and gratitude. Gratitude for what is in my life now and what I know is already available to me. It's not even that it's on its way, it's already available to you. It's kind of like The Price is Right, that you've got all these doors and the only thing is you just haven't opened the right door. So if you're looking at door number one and you've been focused on door number one, then all you got to do is go, okay, there's door number two, door number three, it's already available. That's the beauty and the magic of what we get to manifest, is it's already here for you, available on this earth. It doesn't even have to be created. It's just a matter of you access it. So the other thing that I want to give you, and let's see, I love these two. I love those two. Awesome. I love that, Deborah. I always land on my feet, Mario. I've been telling myself that for years, and it's always been true. I love that. Love that. That's why when I quit my job last month, I knew things would be more than okay. Exactly. Because I also have a philosophy about that one, that if you left your job or you're in transition, I know some of you on the call are, I want you to think about this idea, that if I could succeed living somebody else's dream, if I could succeed on somebody else's mission, somebody else's goals, vision, how can I not succeed for myself? If I could be a top performer, if I could succeed, if I could do these things for another company that wasn't even where really my passion and my excitement and my energy come from, imagine if, or imagine what would happen if I dared to dance in my own space. And some of that is just creating the opportunity to give yourself permission, to stand in a really powerful way that says, I am doing this, I desire this, and this is what I'm going to stay focused on. I'm going to stay focused on this is what I want. It's like if you've ever watched The Secret, on there's two women that have the same illness, and they'll talk about how one person will just, continue to deteriorate, and, like the diagnosis is her progress, where someone else gets the same diagnosis and says, I don't allow that to be my truth. I desire health. I desire energy, I desire vibrancy, and they don't have any of the symptoms and usually can heal themselves in that space. It's all about your mindset. It's all about how you're programming and the words that you choose to hold on to. And so every time you hear yourself say, I don't want, what I want you to do is I want you to correct yourself to say, I desire, I am, it's available because of this, whatever it is to shift yourself away from, there we go, pushing away. So you want to shift from that space of pushing, all that force, pushing away. Let's see, what did you say, Terry? My husband says I can go to the bathroom and come out with a job offer. Best part of it, it's pretty true. Absolutely. Oh my God, I do my best business. I do my best thinking in the bathroom in any capacity. And then I also close more business when I'm on the road. My mother thinks it's hilarious. I'll be driving back. It's a 15-hour drive from Austin up to Illinois where my mom lives. And by the time I've hit Oklahoma, I've usually closed some significant business. She's like, how? I'm like, first of all, I got a lot of windshield time. Second of all, because I just know that that's possible. She's like, I would have never even thought it's possible. I'm like, it's called dialing picking up the phone, calling a couple people, having some conversations, and I inevitably close some really big deals while I'm driving through Oklahoma every time. And now it's almost a game to see how much business can I close when I get through Oklahoma, because there's nothing else to do in Oklahoma when you're driving there. I'm just saying. So I just want you to realize that you have opportunity to change your beliefs, change your stories, change the programming. Martha, I give myself permission to focus on the abundance that is available to me and go towards it. Yes, and what I love about that is that's a really powerful affirmation and mantra that you can say to yourself every morning when you wake up. We talked a little bit about that last week. The other Terry, this is a great advice to keep in mind at all times. That desire to do better each day than the day before. Overpower negativity. Awesome. Love that, love that, love that. So here's what I want you to do for the rest of today. I want you to really be present with yourself. I want you to create a massive amount of awareness so that you can hear whenever you say, or if you feel it. Because let me tell you, it's not just your thoughts. The feelings behind your thoughts is where all the energy and power comes from. So I want you to feel if you're resisting, I don't want that. I don't want to talk to that person today. I don't want to get stuck in traffic today. And I want you to instantly shift it to what you want instead. Man, I had the most amazing drive back from Dallas, which usually frustrates the crap out of me because I simply was like, it's going to be an awesome day to drive back to Austin after a great baseball weekend. I drove back and it was nothing. I didn't hit construction once. I didn't hit a backup. I actually got home in 2.5 hours from Dallas, which is crazy. Yes, I have a little bit of a lead foot, so that helped. But like nothing. It was the most uneventful. It was awesome. It was easy. Mario, the universe doesn't hear the do's and don'ts. It only hears what comes after the do's and don'ts. Exactly. As I said at the beginning of the call, your brain hears the what, and then it hears the how, which is a verb, but it doesn't hear the do or don't want. It just hears want, and it hears the thing, and it hears the thing first. So whatever you're choosing to focus on, if you choose to focus on the fact that you haven't seen a black Jetta at the stoplight, man, all you can think about is a black Jetta, you will start seeing a black Jetta just about every time you get to a stoplight. In some capacity, you'll be like, man, did they just start making more Jettas? No, it's because that's what you're focused on as the what or the thing that you're trying to arrive at. So just change your purview. Just change the perspective around what you're looking at. And so exactly what Mario just said, the universe doesn't care about do, don't. It doesn't recognize that. It hears the thing and it hears the verb, which says want, which says, oh, you don't have enough of, let me give you more. And so it's that space of really being cognizant, really being mindful of the thoughts and words you choose and the feelings and energy you put behind that. Awesome. So real quick, I'm going to see if there's any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to have you set off and have a magical Monday. Hope this is shifting some mindset for some of you, giving you some perspective to realize that everywhere along the play, you have ownership. You have the opportunity to make the choice. Because, you know, as I've said to you guys so many times, leadership is truly a function of how you choose to show up, how you choose to serve others, and how you choose to have that personal responsibility inside those two spaces. And choosing in any of those three capacities is the framing, the language, the mindset that you are choosing to embrace to be more intentional or be more purposeful about how you start your day. And so with that, I don't see any additional questions. I know, like I said, sometimes there's a delay. Love the comments this morning, you guys. This is fantastic. Tomorrow, going to be getting into Tuesday training, and because we got so deep into your morning ritual and the first piece of the bookends, we are going to get into your evening ritual, because your evening will dictate how well your morning goes. And so while your morning is your most critical aspect of your day, your evening is the second. And so I want to make sure that you have those bookends to help set you up for success and help set you up to win and succeed. Love that. Yes, Terry, no, I will not be at the game on Friday. I will be there Saturday, Sunday. I'm flying up Saturday. And then I will be in Chicago on Monday for the home opener at Wrigley Field. which I will do a live before all of the baseball activities. And then next Tuesday, y'all might have to deal with me at the airport because I still plan on getting the Facebook Live in before I board my plane back home. So if that is not commitment to you, I do not know what that is, but might be a little crazy. Maybe a little both. So anyway, hope y'all have a magical Monday. I trust, let me change my language. I trust that you're going to step into this place in a very powerful and mighty way, so that you can really choose to be the leader that you want to be and show up and serve in a capacity that is really going to help you play full out. And it starts with you being more mindful around the language, the framing, the feelings you're putting around things. I will share the vibration chart with all of you on the page. I know that was a request. And so, oh, no kidding, Mario, we really have a lot in common. We got to talk. Excellent. So with that, I am going to leave you. I am going to send huge heart-to-heart hugs. Know that I love you as always. Thank you for joining. Tina, good morning. Thank you all for joining. I just love you, and go out there and have a powerful and magical Monday. I'll talk to y'all soon. Mwah.